Thanks for calling in. Hi. We couldn't talk in the other room because it was so loud. We had 3 pin drafters running and the carder and the baskets in the sink, and then we turned on the opener too. But what you saw us doing was using a machine to open fiber. So here's some of that same beautiful fine wool you saw in the other room.
Look at that glare.
Oh, look at that crimp. You can hardly see the crimp. It's such fine crimp. And this is the first short piece I've seen.
That's what we're not looking for.
Yeah, Angie wants to talk to you guys. We've decided that for 3 weeks we're going to have a focus on 3 different areas of interest at the mill. And the first one of them is fiber prep. And then in 2 weeks we're going to have a focus on how and why we pin draft to make certain weights of yarn. And then finally we're going to talk about twist and ply because we've had a lot of questions about should I do a 3-ply or a 2-ply and why do I do it? And you don't have to have 3-ply to get to Aran. You don't have to have 2-ply to get to sock yarn. You can have 3-ply sock and 2-ply Aran. And we're going to explain all that, but not until 4 more weeks go by. This week, we're here talking about this. Skirting. And what it is and why you should do it before you send us the fiber. Because, I mean, if this was your only little short bit out of 50 pounds of beautiful fine wool, that would be fine.
Yep.
But if the bag is full of this, then that's when we have trouble.
You're going to have a huge loss or you're going to get ugly yarn.
This
It's a little too short.
and caught it on the end.
It'll never open.
It won't
up.
open, so it won't get clean. There's another second cut.
Mm-hmm.
So we always, every fleece goes on that skirting table. But we can't spend all day working on a fleece.
Correct. So if you can do any skirting at home before you bring the fiber, that'd be very nice to get out any shorts. I don't know anything about shearing. Obviously, I've never done that before. But having second cuts is a no-go for us. It makes very, very ugly yarn. It'll cause something that we call pills within your yarn. Some people say it looks rustic. Most people do not like it. But if you send us a lot of shorts, if you have a bag and half of it is short, I wouldn't send it. Or you're going to get a huge loss because we won't use it. We won't put it through because we don't want to make that ugly kind of yarn. No offense to those who like pills.
So the other thing that we really want to call your attention to are these tips. And especially in these fine wool, we got to be able to get, see that's the tip. This is the part that used to be hooked to the sheep. That's the part that's out in the air. And we have to be able to pull them apart with a machine, not with my needs a new manicure or manicure. These have to be done on a machine. We can't do this by hand. And you see I could barely get them open by hand.
Right.
And if we can't get them open in the machine, I'll tell you what happens, and it's very sad when it does. I'll see if I can find one that might do it for you all.
This fleece, I believe, was coated because you can tell how these ends, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but they're sort of...
They're not felted, but
They're
they're
not
matted.
felted. Right. And that's the challenge with coating the sheep. It keeps these fleeces beautiful, clean, but the fleece is growing so fast, if you don't keep changing your coats, then we have a little problem at this end.
And this one's not bad.
No,
those
this is
tips
beautiful.
are opening up, and that's not a problem. Right. But, I've seen somewhere it's down to here.
Right.
And then that phenomena is a problem. So if you're going to coat, the time to put a coat on is the same day you shear.
Yes.
Not a month after you shear. There's no sense because they've had a month of getting dirty. Right. And the time to take a coat off is the day you shear.
That's right.
Again, if you take all that time to coat them for 3 months, then you need to keep them coated all the time.
But every 3-4 weeks, check it and see if it's getting tight, and then change it.
We had a customer who was really into coating her sheep, And she told me that every sheep had 3 coats.
Oh, 3?
3,
Yeah.
yeah, in the course of a
I think
year.
I changed one I coated. I think I changed them more often, but
3
I
different
had-
sizes.
yeah, I had long wools, so it's different.
Yes.
They grow faster.
Because this is the same breed that she had, but it's
Yeah.
just from a different farm.
Yeah.
This is an interesting story. This wool right here that we're sorting now is going to be washed at Clean Fleece, but we're sorting it here because it's our customer, and we want to just speed things along
Yep.
a little by sorting it ourselves.
Yep.
And the customer is someone that I met at Vogue Knitting a couple of years ago, who was starting a yarn brand and really wanted to showcase New York sheep and wool.
Nice.
And so he came to Rhinebeck this past fall and had meetings with the farmers whose wool he's buying. Now there's a brand where the owner of the brand wants to meet the farmer
Yep.
and understands the importance of doing business with the farmer. So, the purpose of this talk tonight, though, is about getting your wool ready. And this one's beautiful, and I think we've talked about all the things we
Yes.
can. Angie has another one over here that she has, she's going to school.
It's
you
not a
all
very
in.
nice one. What we look for when we skirt, not only do we want it nice and long, as you see here, what we go by is our finger. If it's anything longer than our finger, we want to keep it. That's very nice. It's nice, it's durable.
It works with our equipment.
This stuff, this bag here, you can tell, is very, very short. It's full of shorts. You want to get anything short out because, like we said, it causes really bad, ugly yarn.
Including slubs. What
Right.
happens when you have some that's short and some that's long is it goes zoop zoop through the draft on the spinner, and every zoop zoop becomes a slub.
Correct.
There's another problem. It's not long enough, but also those tips.
All of
All
these
those
tips
tips.
will not open up at all, which means they're not going to open up. So when we put them in the wash, it's just going to go right through the wash because it's not going to come off because it's all stuck.
And we can soak them as days, and it still won't soak off.
Right. Right.
And you shouldn't try soaking them off at home.
No.
There's too much wool in this world to spend that kind of hot water budget on those tips. Just throw them out.
Yep. And some people always say, how come I get vegetation and I have all these little things in my yarn when I get it back? Well, our machines won't get all of that stuff out. So if you send us with something that has a lot of vegetation and things in it, you will see it when you get it back, which some people like having that. But you can see it's just falling off on my hands, which it'll go, some of it will fall off in some of the machines, but we can't get all of that out.
Was that a wood shaving I saw there? Because, yeah, these are wood chips. They're some of the worst. Because these wood chips
Will
see
get
that?
shredded and they just spread
They
through the
just
whole
go
rest.
everywhere. Instead of them falling out, they shred. Because this little piece of mud here will probably fall out. But those wood chips, look, they just are hanging on. And you can't get rid of the wood chips.
No.
So that's the worst.
They'll go right through. And you'll see it in your yarn when you get your yarn back because we can't get that out. You're going to see it all in your yarn when you go to knit with it, or some of you who weave with it. You're going to see it through everything.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So did we check it for strength?
This has,
Yeah, it's good.
yep, it has a good amount of
Yep.
strength. The
It's
only
just
thing
too
is that
short.
it's just very, very
It needed
short.
to stay on the sheep longer.
It's just very, very short.
It's got nice, it's very squishy.
Yep.
And
Yep. You can see the crimp.
so one
Yeah.
thing that you might get away with is if all the rest, if this was the only bag, because it is 2.5 inches.
Well, look at
Oh, that's not. You
Right.
can't ever get away with that.
right.
No. 2.5 you might sneak in, but so much of this is, oh, no. That's no.
Yeah. Yeah. We did go out and select the best and the worst.
Wait, there's something else in here I want to call there.
Yeah.
Does that show up on the camera?
Yep.
The pink.
Yep.
So that's marking crayon, marking paint. It's how people tell what sheep's been doing what. If they want to manage them at a glance, they spray on their back. And the people who sell you the spray are in the business of selling you the spray, not in the business of making yarn.
They tell us it washes off.
But it doesn't work.
I know.
No, it doesn't.
I know.
You see it come all
I
the
know.
way through.
I know.
And then you have those pink streaks.
I know.
Yeah, then
I know.
At
I've
least
done
you
that.
know exactly
Right.
what sheep it came from.
Well, no, we spray them all or
Yeah.
mark them all.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
do. This is not the worst. We have one thing that I wanted to show it because I think maybe some people don't know.
Yeah, let's show them what you wanted to show them.
It's really bad. And if you know your sheep has this, please don't bag it up and bring it to us.
Well, this didn't come off the sheep like this.
But it sat in a barn
It
for
sat
a while.
somewhere for a while. Let's show the evidence.
So,
Oh.
Those are moth casings.
The eggs of moths. Moths laid those eggs in this wool. And then the babies woke
they
up
just eat it all.
and snacked on all the wool by them.
they will eat all of it.
And it's shredded now. Oh, that's grass. But
It'll just break right
it
apart.
Now-
just-
In a perfect world, we would have caught this when it came in the door. But we don't always. If you bring us a lot of bags of wool and we just look at most of them and they're okay, but then we get this one.
well, and this one appears to be old,
Yeah.
much older. See, it had been in a bag.
Yep.
And then the bag got beat up, so they
Yep.
rebagged it. That I should have. Whoever took this in, should have raised the red flag. But sometimes,
This is what I would throw away.
Oh.
Yes.
We're going to throw it away right now
Yeah.
so it doesn't contaminate anyone else's wool.
But it should have been thrown away at shearing,
Right.
given the amount of hay and the amount
Yeah.
of manure. And
Right.
I think the moths
They
kind of
like that. They like that.
better than the really
Right.
clean stuff, because
Yeah.
we
Right.
definitely see more moth in these really. But you can't tell now if this was shredded from the moths.
No.
Because look at how brittle that wool is.
Or it
It
just
may
breaks
just
apart.
be
Yeah.
really old wool
Right.
too.
Yeah.
It just
Right.
breaks
It
right
just-
off.
Yeah.
Right. So just get it closed up and out the door.
Out the door.
Out the door.
Out the door. Here, I'll put these
So
little-
we do use precautions and stuff like that. So
Yes,
for
we
those
do.
of you who do send us that, we rebag everything that comes in here, and you get a nice bag, and it goes in and it's all tightly sealed. But if you bring us in something, say you bring us 5 bags, we put it in a big bag. It's all yours. If you have moths in one, it's spread into all of your bags in that bag.
Yep.
But we have a special way we bag everything so it won't go to anybody else's fiber,
Right.
but yours.
Right.
So hopefully you don't have any of that.
Right.
And hopefully you don't send it here. It's gross.
That's the technical term.
Yes. Yes.
Have we had any questions?
No questions yet. Nobody has any questions.
And nobody said ew either?
No.
Oh.
No.
Surprise.
Well, we
Right.
do post this to
Right.
our YouTube, and
Right.
so we'll give a note when it's ready,
Right.
and that will give people a chance to look at and hear some of our do's and don'ts about what to send in.
Right.
The best time to send in your wool, right after shearing.
Right.
Shearing is now getting ready to start or is underway, and now's the time. I know it takes a lot of time, but there's no time like the present, because sooner or later you're going to have to do it. And the quicker you sort it and get it to us, the safer it's going to be.
That's right.
And that's really the bottom line.
Right. So when we were in the mill, it's quiet in there right now.
I heard that.
You could see Angie and Mary Jean working at the skirting table, throwing it into the machine. That machine is doing what?
Opening, so we don't have to hand open everything. So we do a quick shake on the table, and for any of the shorts or second cuts that come, they fall out through the table. Some of the vegetation will fall through the table as well. And we're looking for all those shorts like we did in here, just a quick one. And when it gets thrown in the machine, so we don't have to hand pick each one of those apart, because that just takes too much time. So the machine that it goes into has its own, what do you call it? I just call it nails. I don't know if that's a
Sharp things.
that go up and down, and it just opens it up for us, so we don't have to hand do it, and it gets it ready to go to the wash area. Some fiber we had to put through that twice, so we make sure that it gets a really good opening.
Yep.
And that saves so much water, so much detergent, so much time, and it gets it cleaner. Even if we left it soaked longer, use more water, use more detergent, it still wouldn't be as clean as if we just took the time to open it up.
Right.
In the end, that's a bigger time saver.
Yep.
And
Yep.
we've learned that the hard way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we keep thinking, oh, this is clean enough. And so also those of you who send us the final and then call and say, how's that job coming? Know that sometimes we end up off our schedule because we end up with a job that has to go through that machine 2 or 3 times. We budgeted 1 day and instead we're doing it 3 days.
Right.
So boom, we're now off the schedule, and it's hard to ever make that up.
Right.
But we want to get each person's job right, and all that means is your job will also be right, but your turn is pushed back.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going on to scouring.
We could go on to scouring now
Yeah.
if there's.
We've got about 10 minutes
Yeah.
left.
Okay.
We could go look in those sinks and talk about
Okay.
water and detergent and agitation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, look at these baskets here. They're all in here soaking. So this is called a 2 wash. So they're getting a wash with soap in this one. Then the next sink they get a rinse. Then they get another wash in here. And then this sink is filling for a rinse, and at the end it gets a double rinse. So in each sink it sits for 20 minutes. We don't agitate a lot. When we fill the sink, we just push it down, make sure everything is in the water, and then we let it sit for about 20 minutes before it goes into our washing machine to spin out.
That water looks very clean.
It is.
Yeah.
Already.
Yep.
Yep.
Even in this second wash, it's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A second wash is definitely necessary.
Right.
But the second rinse is looking pretty. I mean, that's already looking pretty clean.
Yep, that's the second wash.
And it feels.
Yep.
That second rinse after the second wash
Yep.
is feeling pretty good. Now I daringly stuck my fingers in there.
That's
Did
pretty
you
hot
all
water.
See me go right in the very
Yeah,
top.
I did.
That's 180 degrees.
Yeah. And these are just styrofoam boards keeping the heat in.
What we do to start is right here is our wash line. So it goes to the back of the skirting area and it gets put in line all through here, and the next bag is right in the front. And what we do here is we take it out, we fluff it, we give it a little bit more of a separation.
Look how nice and open that is. All those tips have opened up.
And we
That's
don't push
lovely,
it down,
yeah.
we just let it sit on top of each other.
That's a Shetland.
Is it?
Yes.
If you put too much in there, it won't get clean. So we only separate it and let it adjust its own weight.
That's one nice thing it cleans, please.
And then
We're
the
running
basket is
2.5
ready.
pounds
Oh,
in
yeah.
a basket.
Yeah, that's
Two
good.
and a half pounds every 6 minutes.
Oh,
Wow.
that's great.
So
Yeah.
that means we can do 25 pounds an hour.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. On even a 6-hour day is a good 100 pounds a day.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah, depending on here, we only fill about a half a pound to a pound, depending on how fluffy it is and the type of wool that it is.
Yeah.
That way we know it gets clean through every single thing.
So you can see the advantages and why it's less than half price to have your wool washed to clean fleece.
Right.
The problem is you gotta have a 50-pound lot.
Yeah.
And so if you have a 10-pound lot and you don't want to blend it with your other fiber, you want to keep that brown, that color brown.
Right.
You're
Right.
gonna have to pay the top price to
Yep.
have us
Yep.
do this for it.
Yep.
That is beautiful. That is really
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah. I'm got Shetland right now on the pin drafter.
Oh,
Really pretty.
When it's in good condition,
Yeah.
Shetland is a lovely
Yeah.
fiber, but it's very hard.
After the last rinse, it'll go in our machine and get spun out. And then what we do here is we'll take it all out. We'll put it on our table. And we'll fluff it out on these drying racks that we have. And we'll spread it all out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it is.
So silky.
Still
And
Shetland?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think this one
I think
too.
it's Shetland. So look at the,
Yeah.
it's almost
Yes.
like an Icelandic. Look at that
Yeah.
staple one.
Yeah.
But it's clean. I mean, that's your instinct.
Right.
That's not
Right.
dirt.
And you can see there's still a little vegetation in here.
Yep.
Well, we don't know what it looked like when it came in, so.
But that little bit of vegetation that's in here, the little ones, these
Yes.
most likely will fall out.
Right.
So you won't get much of that back.
Right.
Stuff when it's kind of matted.
Yeah,
in
right
here,
there.
That
Yeah.
one, that's a little bit harder to where that will most likely end up being come through.
Right.
And then after it gets put on the drying rack, you can see the racks up here. And it'll get thrown right up here just to dry.
Well, labeled with the names on them and ready
Yep.
to roll.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful Gotland
Wow.
on here drying right now. Beautiful.
Okay.
Some nice
Alpaca?
Yep.
That's very pretty.
Any questions, anybody?
Show them in general how we keep people's names on.
Yep. See their labels? And that job's going all the way down to
that's
here.
that one. That's pretty, that one.
And then we're starting again, and then we change to another job.
So that's how we keep people's jobs separate.
And that's that Shetland that we just were working on.
That's what you started there.
Yeah.
And now we got 3 trays of them.
And those tags will stay with every job the whole way through. So it'll stay separate. It'll be only your fiber, nobody else's fiber. It'll stay separate the whole time it comes through.
Yeah, if you're looking for a stock tip, buy Post-it notes.
We use a lot.
Yeah, we buy it by the gross here.
Do you ever get Clun Forest sheep is a question coming in.
Yeah, we
Yes.
had one for
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Katie Sullivan sends us quite a lot of clun from northern Vermont. Very pretty. We like that a lot. It's kind of got some traits of a Cheviot and some traits of a Dorset, but a nice twist. And good length usually on clun.
Right.
And not all that coarse. Sort of like how East region that people are surprised that we like East region.
Yeah.
Just like they're surprised they've heard of one and like one. And you know what you could put in that same category? Gulf Coast native.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
another one
Yeah.
that we see our friends, several people in the southern states are sending the Gulf Coast natives
Yep.
here. And it's a nice breed.
Yeah. Okay. Sarah says Clun Forest is so nice, spongy texture.
Yes.
So Romney Spinner asks, would you prefer to process a covered fleece with access to a barn or one that's uncovered and raised on grass pasture?
I'd rather process the one that was shorn perfectly. That was exactly 3 inches. I guess my point is, there's no right or wrong answer. That there's a lot of breeds that I don't think you need to be covering.
I found that out.
Especially on a grass pasture.
Right.
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 They're beautiful.
Right.
Without the covers. Then there's some other breeds
Right.
that the day you shear them, you ought to put a coat on them because you can't get it clean.
Right. And for our farm, we need about 8 or 9 months of growth on the wool, and we don't have that long a pasture
Right.
season. from when you're shearing to when. So managing the hay for us was the biggest issue. So we built special bunks to hopefully keep as much hay off of the sheep as you can. It's not perfect. Nobody, it's never
Especially
perfect.
because of messy neighbors.
Yes.
They get a big mouthful, and then they go, and then they move away.
Right.
The mouth is empty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is,
Yeah. It's a tough one.
You can't make your sheep behave.
Right.
You can buy them the fancy new things to eat out of. And I used to yell at some customers about that. I was like, you're in charge here. So my son, who used to caretake for a flock of mohair goats, went with his buddy to drive a car to Colorado. And, you don't need to know why my son was
Right.
no longer caretaking for 8 days. But anyhow, Mom said, I'll do that. It's only 6 or 8 goats. How hard can it be, says Mom. So they have the bale of hay comes cut into these little plates, ready
Yeah.
to serve, little plates. Hello, ladies. I'm Mary Jean. I'll be your server tonight. And goat number 1 said, oh, hi, Mary Jean. Boom.
Yes.
And so handful number 1 just went on me.
Yeah.
Not on goat number 1. Goat number 2, hello, this evening we're offering this lovely second cut of hay. And goat number 2 said, numb, just enough to make the flake break apart, give me a bruise, and put that hay in every ounce
Yeah.
of that absolutely beautiful Angora mohair.
Yep. Yep.
That was that.
Yep. And that's the way it goes.
No longer yell at anybody.
I never yelled again.
Yeah.
And my friends, where my son was caretaking, they were doing all the things right.
Right.
And there was no fault of anyone other than the goat themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're just after 6.
Oh, we better not keep them waiting. We'll see you all in 2 weeks, folks.
Right.
Where we're going to continue the tour of carding and pin drafting and talk about how we prepare the fiber for spinning, be it hand spinning by you all, spinning in our own mill, or spinning to send. We run some material for people that want a special blend in another mill, and we just pin draft it and send it where they want it.
Yep.
So next week, 2 weeks, we'll go deep into pin drafting, carding, and pin drafting.
And picking. Everybody loves the picking.
Oh,
They love the picking closet.
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 We're gonna blow